I'm Mario Reyes from St. Lucia, member of the St. Lucia Tourism Authority, and I'm in charge of airlift for St. Lucia.
Mario, you have a long, distinguished career in aviation,
Yes.
and you've just stepped off a panel talking about intra-Caribbean
Correct.
connectivity. Give us kind of some of the key points, the key takeaways.
The key takeaways is that we keep on trying to reinvent the wheel and not just do what is obvious. The Caribbean is a destination that's very close in proximity, but we have no road network. So we need to have airlift with frequency that can afford people free movement back and forth. As it currently stands since COVID and with the collapse of LIAT 1974 Limited, that inter-Caribbean connection that was mandated by that airline every single day, multiple times a day, disappeared. So we had new airlines that came in and they picked the routes that may have been profitable and just stuck to those. While doing so, it left the rest of the region not connected. The reality is we need connectivity if we're going to grow tourism. And without any connectivity, we're dead. So at least for regional tourists, we need to have connectivity between all the islands. And you have to have the right size. You can't have a 50-seater flying multiple times between each island. It's not economically viable. So you need a plane that makes it. And really with our population, a 19-seater with multiple flights per day would probably be the best option. And at the same time, it doesn't mean that the bigger airplanes won't operate, but they'll operate from strategic hubs to connect longer distances. So that means we'll have the regional travel moving at a frequency that's acceptable, and the international ones can operate and not lose money and require subsidies. And that is my point, because within the regional, if you have a small enough airplane that is cost effective, you can be profitable and not require subsidy.
Okay, so let's just say tomorrow, blank sheet of paper,
Yeah.
you are the newly appointed aviation minister for the whole of the Caribbean. What do you do?
I implement a feeder service with a 19-seater aircraft, which I know, that can not only, as a lady mentioned a while ago, not only passengers, also do cargo, because we have a tremendous opportunity with cargo in the region. So I would implement 4 19-seaters in the OECS. I would do probably 4 50-seaters that connects the hubs, and operate probably 4 or 5 100-seater jets to the international hubs. For Lauderdale, I would explore opening South America and Central America. And that way we have direct connectivity everywhere. And this has nothing to do with our international partners like American and British Airways and Virgin.
This is all on top, right?
It's all on top. So if I could tomorrow, yes, I have the solution.
What's stopping us from doing this?
Politics. We have too many people. Everybody wants a piece of the pie. I don't know if you realize what caused, one of the contributing factors to the demise of LIAT was that in the latter stages, LIAT were operating every flight through a Barbados and an Antigua hub. If you think about it, you want to fly from St. Lucia to St. Martin. Why do I need to go to Antigua? If I'm going from St. Lucia to Grenada, why do I need to go to Barbados? I'll leave that question for you to answer. I'm not going to answer it, but all I can tell you, the airports authorities of these two countries benefited tremendously from the tax levied at the detriment of the airline. So, and that is the main thing. The amount of money people paid that contributed to taxes versus the actual airfare, that's what killed regional travel.
And you're wearing your St. Lucia hat. The impact of that is massive, right? From an economic point of view.
Absolutely. During the LIAT days, LIAT had an average of 14 to 16 flights per day out of George F.L. Charles at Castries Airport. That went to 0. And that was, if you think about it, your plane leaves Antigua, goes to St. Lucia, goes to Trinidad, and everybody in between connected. All of that disappeared. And there's no private airline or independently operated airline is going to do that with the current tax structure. It has to be regularized as a domestic airspace. And if they did that, the airlines, you go do what you have to do commercially to survive, and you don't have to worry about that massive tax that was a deterrent to the traveling public.
Some Mario, okay, you're minister now. Final kind of message, like to your policy. Like, what's the impact of what you've just described?
The impact of what I've just described is that if we go have regional travel be boosted back to the levels that could be achieved, we will now have another probably 20 to 30% benefit to each individual island in terms of its economic growth. Because when people travel, they spend money. The reality is every single day somebody's not in their own island, they go to a restaurant, they go to a hotel, they do a tour, they go visit friends, they do things, they spend money. If you don't travel, there's no money to be spent because you're not there. So the bottom line is we need to get people traveling again and enjoying themselves.
Vote Mario, vote growth, vote change. Thank you for your
But
time today.
unfortunately, not a politician. Thank you.
Excellent.